this is Shannon. This is Cycle 1, Week 22, Tutor and Memory Work Ideas. I'm excited to share with you some ideas you can use as a tutor in your community group, and you can also use these ideas at home with your kids as you practice the memory work. If you are new to my channel, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little ones, 5, 3, and 1, and we do classical homeschooling and love it. And I have the privilege of tutoring the obesitarians this year, so that's the 4 through, I have some 7-year-olds now too, so 4 through 7-year-olds. So these ideas are with them in mind, but you can definitely use them for older kids or adjust them a little bit if you need to. Be sure to stick around to the end of this video because I have some more fun games and activities you can do with your kids at home to practice the memory work this week. And also be sure to check out my Cycle 1 second semester picture book list. If you haven't already, I will link it below in the description, as well as some review games I have made that you can do with your kids to just review the things they've learned so far this year. We are going to start with English this week. We are doing the first 4 linking verbs. So I have these written down in my preschool lined paper notebooks that I have for each of the kids in my group. They just look like this, and I've decorated the front of each of the notebooks with the kid's name and this biology design. So we have been going through these all year, and I write the cycle and the week at the bottom, and then I wrote 2 of the linking verbs out, one with dots for the kids to trace, and then a horizontal line for the kids to write the last one, which is taste. So one of the reasons I like this is you can adjust this to your kids' level. You could write more of them out, less of them. You could have more of them for your kids to trace. You could just leave the first letter of each one blank. There's lots of different ways you can adjust this. And you can adjust this to the level of each kid in your class. So if you have some older kids, you could write less for them. If you have some younger kids, you could write out more for them. I like the kids to have some writing practice. I think it's great. It doesn't take much time at all. And as they're writing, I walk around and help them and start singing our linking verb song, which we started week 20. We did a different song last week, but we started this linking verb song week 20, and it goes to the tune Ants Go Marching, and it goes like this. A linking verb makes an assertion by joining 2 words. A linking verb makes an assertion by joining 2 words. Feel, become, remain, taste. And then I'll just stop there for this week. I'll link below my video that has the whole song if you want to see it. I also have a song with all the hand motions. If you want to see that, I'll link that below as well. So once the kids are done writing in their books, I hand out a sticker for them to put on the front. I do that each week just so they'll have a lot of stickers on their book by the end. And I'm going to teach them some hand motions to help them remember these linking verbs. So the first linking verb is feel. So we're going to go like this with our hands, feel. So feel and then become. I'm going to link my fingers like this and go out for become. Remain, we're going to put our hand up like a stop sign. And then taste, we're going to touch our lips. So feel, become, remain, taste. And then there's going to be hand motions for the next couple weeks as well. So we'll do the whole song, week 24, including all the linking verbs. So I'll have the kids stand up and try those hand motions with me. We'll start singing at the beginning with the definition and then just sing through the linking verbs for this week. Then I like to play a game with them too where I say, okay, I want you guys to do one of the hand motions and we'll guess which linking verb you are doing. So don't say what you're doing, just do the motion and we'll guess. So I'll let a kid try, and maybe one kid will do, we'll say, ooh, that's feel, or one kid might do, ooh, that's remain. And there's only 4 linking verbs for this week, so I have more than 4 kids in my group, so some of them might do the same one. It's a fun way to just review them. I also like to review the preposition song that we did first semester with the kids. A lot of times I do this during review time, but it doesn't take long to run through the whole song with the hand motions that we did. I'll link that video below too if you want to see it. I'm planning on performing this for the parents at the end of the year ceremony, and so I'm just doing it with the kids each week to keep it fresh. For timeline this week, I have my timeline cards. I like to put these dollar store letters on the top of each one just because I have younger kids and not all of them can read yet, so it helps them identify them. So before our class time, I will hide these around the room, and when we're ready to do timeline, I'll tell the kids to go find one, bring it back to their seat. So once all the cards are found, then we will go over them in order, and I'll have 7 pieces of painter's tape up on the wall, and I'll have the kids put them on the wall in order. So for example, I'll say, okay, the first event is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. North, who has that card? And we'll talk about what North starts with. It starts with an N. So whoever found that card can go stick that up on the wall. And then we'll go to the next event and we'll do that until all of them are taped up on the wall in the correct order. Then I will go over the hand motions for each of the events with all the kids. And we'll kind of sing the tune of this week's part of the timeline song as we do that. So the motions go like this. For North Atlantic Treaty Organization, we're going to do an N. So our thumb in between our fingers, our 2 fingers on each side. North, and then Atlantic, we're going to do an A, so our thumb on the outside of our hand. North Atlantic Treaty, so I'm going to put my thumb under my first finger for T, and then organization. So North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And then the Korean War. Then Martin, I'm going to make an N for Martin Luther, an L, King, a K, Jr., and the Civil Rights, I'm going to cut my hand like that, Civil Rights Movement. And then Jim and Elizabeth Elliot, I'm going to make an E, Jim and Elizabeth Elliot. Missionaries, I'm going to make my M and just go like that to my heart. So Jim and Elizabeth Elliot, missionaries to Ecuador. We're going to put our left hand out like this and just kind of shake our E like that for Ecuador. Antarctic Treaty, we're going to shiver. We're cold. So the Antarctic Treaty, Vietnam War. So I'm going to make a V and go war like that. As astronauts walk on the moon, we're going to cross our 2 fingers and go up like we're blasting off our rocket. So US astronauts, and then we're going to walk along our left hand, walk on the moon. So US astronauts, walk on the moon like that. I will go over the motions with the kids. We will sing the tune together. North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the Korean War, Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement. Jim and Elizabeth Elliot, missionaries to Ecuador, the Antarctic Treaty, Vietnam War, US astronauts walk on the moon. So we'll sing that together. Then I'm going to give the kids a turn with these light sticks. I'm going to have one kid just come up at a time, and we're going to sing the song again, the rest of the kids and the kid holding the light stick. And the kid with the light stick is just going to tap on the timeline cards that are on the wall as we sing each event. So I don't know if you can see, but they light up when they tap. They're really fun. I've used these several times this year. The kids really like them. So for example, if Tommy comes up first, then he'll bring his light stick and we'll start with North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and he'll tap that one. The Korean War, he'll tap that one. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement, he'll tap that one, etc. I'll encourage them to tap the card as we sing each event. And then the rest of us will be singing and trying the hand motions. So then I'll let another kid try and another kid try. And so we'll sing it definitely 7 times as each kid comes and taps the cards. For geography this week, we are doing South America West. So I made these South America maps just to have a bigger map for the kids than the Trivium Table map. I will bring in the same Trivium Table maps that I've shown in the past just to show the kids where South America is in the whole world. But I will pass out these maps, which you can download from my blog post to these tutor plans. So I'll link that below if you want. And then I just put these maps in these dry erase folders. I prep the maps beforehand by outlining each country in a different color dry erase marker. And I'm not going to have these letters in the map before class. I'm going to have the kids do that part. So I'm going to hand out these maps. Again, the countries will be outlined in a different color for the kids, just since I have younger kids. It helps them to just quickly see where the countries are. And then we'll go over each one. And for example, I'll say, okay, the first one is Venezuela. What does Venezuela start with? Ooh, a V. So let's all write a V in the red, Venezuela. And then we'll go through and do the first letter of each country. I'll have them write it in there or beside the country. For Chile, we're going to write CH instead of C, since we already have a C for Colombia. And then I'm going to teach them a song to the tune Camp Town Races. And we're going to do this song for next week too, but I'll just sing for you this week's song, and then I'll link my video below if you want to see the whole entire song. So it goes like this. South America, West Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. South America, West Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. So I'll teach them that. I'll have them point with their dry erase marker to each country as we sing. And then I'll tell them, okay, let's all find Bolivia. Anybody remember where Bolivia is? And let's erase the B. So let's go ahead and erase B from Bolivia. And so we'll do that for each country. I'll say, okay, now we've got to find Venezuela. Where was that? Ooh, let's erase the V for Venezuela until all of them are erased. And then I'll say, okay, now let's find Bolivia again. Anybody remember where Bolivia was? Now let's erase the outline around Bolivia. And I'll encourage them to try to erase that, and we'll go through each country that way and have them erase the outline. Then when their map is completely erased, I'll say, okay, now we're going to really challenge you. Who remembers where Bolivia is? And it's not even outlined anymore, and see if anybody remembers. So just a great way to continue practicing and reviewing. For math this week, we are doing the commutative law. So I made little puzzles again. You can see my pieces here, and you can see in my picture what the puzzles look like. So I have different colors for A and B for both the addition and the multiplication. I'm going to hand these out in a little baggie to each child. And before I have them actually start the puzzle, I'm going to show them the commutative law on my tutor board and explain all that it is saying we can switch the order of A and B if we're doing addition or multiplication, and it's the same thing. And then I'm going to teach them a song to the tune Mama's Little Baby Loves Shortened Bread. And it goes like this. The commutative law for addition states A plus B equals B plus A. The commutative law for multiplication states A times B equals B times A. A plus B equals B plus A. A times B equals B times A. So we will sing that as they're doing their puzzles. And then once they get their puzzles put together, we'll sing it again so they can follow along and look at their puzzles as they're singing. Then they can also take their puzzles home, which is fun. So I have these for free to download if you want from my blog post of these tutor plans, so I will link that below if you want to use these. You could use these at home too if you don't want to use them as a tutor. For history this week, I am going to do silly words again. If something's working with the Obesitarians, you just go with it, and they love this. Is like the most engaged part for them. They really love it. So I'm just going to keep doing it. What I do is I sing or say the history sentence normally first and tell the kids to listen really carefully. And then I throw some silly words in there, and they have to raise their hand if they hear a silly word and tell me what it should be. In 1867, the British North America Act established the Dominion of Canada. The Canadians gained total independence from Britain in 1982. French is spoken in the province of Quebec. So I'll sing that, and then I'll say, okay, now I'm going to throw some silly words in, and if you hear a silly word, raise your hand. So I'm going to say, in 1867, the skittish North America. Skittish? No, what should it be? Oh, British, not skittish. Okay, so then I go back to the beginning and do it normally until the next silly word. So, in 1867, the British North America Act demolish the Dominion of, demolish, not demolish, what should be? Oh, establish the Dominion of Canada. So I keep doing that, keep going back to the beginning of the song, singing normally until the next silly word, so they're actually hearing it correctly a lot of times. Then at the end, I'll have us all stand up and dance because it's a very dancey song. So the silly words I used were skittish instead of British, demolished instead of established, Nevada instead of Canada, attendance instead of independence, trench instead of French, and nonsense instead of province. For Latin this week, we are doing the fourth declension noun endings again. We did these last week as well. So what I'm going to do is just have the kids sing along with me as I point to each one on my tutor board, just normally first. So the song goes like this. Us, oos, ooey, boom, ooh. Us, oos, ooey, boom, ooh. Us, oos, ooey, boom, ooh. Singular for declension. Oos, boom, ibis, oos, ibis. Oos, boom, ibis, oos, ibis. Oos, boom, ibis, oos, ibis. Plural for declension. Then I'm going to give each of the kids a silly voice stick. So these are old. You can tell they've been used a lot. But I just basically colored popsicle sticks. You could just get colored popsicle sticks. I just didn't have them when I did this, so I colored my own. And then I wrote silly voices on them like no teeth, loud to soft, super smiley. So I'm going to give one of these to each of the kids. I also have silly voice cards. If you haven't seen that already, you can download them for free from my blog. I'll link those in the description below if you want to use them. But sometimes I like using the sticks. Sometimes I like using the cards. The kids love silly voices, so I do this a lot, and I like to just mix it up. So this week I'm doing the sticks, and they'll each get a stick with a silly voice, and then we'll do the Latin in everybody's different silly voices. You could, if you're kind of pushed for time, just do the singular for one kid's silly voice and then go to the plural for another kid's silly voice, and that would speed it up a little bit. For science this week, we are learning about different kinds of weather fronts. So what I'm going to do is show the kids a picture on my tutor board that kind of shows the 4 fronts, and then I'm going to bring them probably out into the hallway in the area where we meet, spread them out, and have them stand on one of these spot markers. I just like these for the little kids because it gives them a spot to stand, and for some things it really helps. So I'm going to have them stand on their spot marker, and first I'm going to teach them a little hand motion for each of the kinds of fronts that will help us understand a little bit what happens during each one. So the first front is a cold front, and I'm going to have them spin around. I'm not going to do it fully right here, but spin around on their spot marker because tornadoes can happen during cold fronts. Obviously not all the time, but they can happen. So I'm going to have them spin around like a tornado for cold. Then for warm front, I'm going to have them bring their fingers down like it's raining. So they're going to spin around like a tornado for cold, bring their fingers down like it's raining for warm. For stationary front, I'm going to have them look around like they're trying to see in fog, because fog can happen during a stationary front. And then for occluded front, I'm going to have them clap their hands and make thunder like that. So then I'm also going to sing them a song to the tune The More We Get Together, and I'm going to have them try to do these hand motions as we sing it. So the song goes like this. What are some kinds of weather fronts? Cold, warm, stationary, and occluded. Cold, warm, stationary, and occluded. These are some kinds of weather fronts. And we'll just do that several times. And that is science this week. For review this week, I have this fun Easter themed game. This is similar to my Stinky Feet game or my Love Bug game if you played those, but it's called Rotten Egg. So I'm going to stick my Rotten Egg sign up on the wall, and then I have these little Easter eggs that I'm going to stick all around it. Some of the eggs have a positive point value on the back. Some of them are rotten eggs and have a negative point value on the back. But when they're all on the wall, they're all going to look the same, so the kids won't know if they're rotten or not. So I'm going to divide the kids into 2 teams and ask review questions, and then whoever can answer the question, they come up and grab an egg and then turn it over and see if it's rotten or not, or a negative value or not, And then I usually have a parent help me keep score. Whoever was from that team, the parent will write down 5, and then I'll ask another review question. Whoever can answer it will come pick another egg, turn around, uh-oh, it's rotten. So then they get -15 on their score. And then at the end of the game, it's fun. You can either take the highest score or the lowest score just to mix it up. So just a fun review game. The kids in my group have really loved Stinky Feet and Love Bugs, so I like playing these kind of review games with them. And I like to think of review questions on the fly. It just works better for me. So like I might say, who can tell me one of the helping verbs that we've learned the last few weeks? Or what's the definition of a linking verb? What is one of the places in Mesoamerica that we learned? Or who remembers an African country? So you can download this game for free. I have lots of different egg designs and the point values on the back. So you can just download it and cut them out and use them if you want. So I will link that below. As I promised, I want to show you the memory work games and activities you can do with your kids during the week. These are totally free from my blog, so I hope your family enjoys them. So the first one is a British North America Act tic-tac-toe game. So I have several different tic-tac-toe boards and cards. So the way you play is you draw a card and has a blank. It's part of the history sentence, but it has part of it blank. So in, and then it has a little picture to give you a hint. In 1982, so you would find 1982 and either make an X or an O, depending on whether you decided your X's or O's. And then the other person draws a card and say they get in the province of, they would fill in Quebec, and then they might make an X on Quebec. And then you just keep drawing cards and see who is the first person to get 3 X's in a row or 3 O's in a row. So that is history. For science, I have this weather front and clouds board game. I'm super excited about this one. I think it's really cool. For this one, you do just go to each square. It's like a journey, and you're gonna add different weather or clouds depending on what the square says. So I'll show you. So I just laminated a piece of construction paper and put Velcro dots around. You don't have to use the Velcro. I just did because I have them and it's fun. And then I have different cutouts like heavy rain or sunshine. I have different kinds of clouds. This will relate to next week as well when we learn about clouds. I have a tornado. So basically the game takes you on a journey where it might tell you to add or take away certain clouds or weather depending on what front is happening. So really fun. I'm really excited about that one. You could also have your kids just draw different clouds or weather if you don't want to cut out all the things, depending on what you want to do. Then for Latin, I have my Latin bingo game again. I've showed this before. It has all the Latin noun endings from weeks 15 through 24 on it. Great way to review those. For English, I have my linking verb cards. They have the linking verb, a sentence with the linking verb, and a little picture. So you can play memory with these or just use them for reference. For math, I have this ice cream order of operations activity where the kids can identify which property is being shown, so associative, commutative, etc., and then color them a certain color. And I have different forms, so they can do it several times with different properties on different ice cream scoops. And then I have a key for each one. And then for geography, I have a South America West and East dice game. So I have all the countries from this week and next week. I will include just a blank map too if you just want it for reference. I have different numbers, so the kids can roll 1 or 2 dice and then find the sum if they rolled 2 and then try to guess what country coordinates with that number rolled. So again, you can look at my description of this video and find the link where you can download these activities for free. I hope you enjoy them. Also, if you haven't seen, I made this Historopoly, so Monopoly style history game. This includes all the history from cycle 1. I have money with it and cards, just like chance cards. They're called discovery cards, and little markers that your kids can use to identify themselves on the board. Super fun way to review history, so check that out. I'll link that in the description below if you want to check out that game. Also, I know we're past Africa, but I just want to make sure you see this if you haven't already. I made this Africa countries book, And my kids and I are still working through it, even though we're technically past Africa, but we're still learning about Africa. For example, this is a page that my daughter already colored of Chad. So there's a zoomed in picture of the country. She colored that, and the flag, a blank page that she hasn't done yet. Looks like this. So there's a fun fact about each country, food that they like to eat there, a popular animal, etc. So just a fun way to learn about Africa. If you haven't seen this and you're interested, I'll link this below. If you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I post at least one video per week, sometimes more homeschool related, or also we like to make healthy recipes and I like to post about that. Also, check out my Instagram. I like to post what we're doing homeschool wise throughout the week and also healthy recipes that we're making. And check out my blog where you can get these free resources and see my written up blog post about tutor plans, what we do each week homeschool wise, and also healthy recipes. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.